back to another episode of Play by Play presented by Win or Lose Sports. Visit us online at winorloseshow.com and visit us on all of our social media at Win or Lose Show. Today's guest is Mike Menchaca, Mike Chaka Fair, Jersey Mike, whatever you want to call him. And we're talking about high school sports, specifically high school NIL deals that's been going on actually for years, and that is just now catching on in certain areas of the country. So kind of talk about what have you found out, or what have you heard about the NIL deals in high school? But wait a minute, but before you get into that, for those who don't know what NIL means, which means name, image, and likeness, something that pros been doing since NBA Jam.
No, I appreciate you having me. But no, like you said, it's been happening, whether we've acknowledged it or not, in different ways. I mean, hence like some of the athletes the schools who got punished for giving players money when they didn't have like the actual formatting for like the Reggie Bush, who finally just got like his Heisman, his Heisman honors back due to stuff he was receiving back then. And then you had like, I remember stuff going on with Terrell Pryor at Ohio State, when he was getting cars and all that stuff from different boosters and sponsors of the school, whatever. But in today's state, it's the trickle down effect is getting real, because I'm not sure how many of y'all been paying attention on like social media and stuff like that. There's a lot of players jumping ship to leave the state of Ohio. Some of the top players in Ohio are leaving Ohio because we don't have like the NIL eligibility in Ohio for athletes to receive it. So there's been a lot of the top players have been jumping ship. And it's like, it's a gift and a curse with the whole thing, because we're losing a lot of talent to it, but at the same time, a lot of players and families are being blessed by whatever the opportunities they have that are being presented to them.
Right. And we kind of talked about on Facebook the state of City League basketball, like how it's diminished over the years. How it used to be like the highlight of fall sports was City League basketball, and how all the best players went to certain schools. Mm-hmm. Now it's like you can't get a certain level of talent to play in the City League. And I think one thing is because of prep schools, out of state prep schools. And another thing is, I don't think AAU is a problem, but it creates individuality when it comes to player development. Because now you have a guy who played for Scott, who's not going to play for Scott anymore, because now he plays for his AAU team with his buddies, and his buddies go to a prep school in Columbus. So now I'm going to move to Columbus because I'm a part of this AAU team, and my guy who's my best teammate plays for this prep school in Columbus. Now I'm going to move to Columbus so I can play for this team. I think that has created one of the problems that we have with high school basketball or high school sports.
No, that's real. I mean, like you said, speaking specifically about the City League, referencing Toledo, one of the top players from Rogers just left to go to that I just found out he just left to go to a prep school, I think in Minnesota or something like that. Wow. And the kid was tough. Like, I had a chance to watch him over the summer quite a bit, because we were on the same AAU circuit. I coached AAU this summer, 15U, but I got a chance to watch him a lot. And I was thinking, oh yeah, he's going to be killing next year in the City League. And just got word, and I saw the post pop out on Instagram. He leaving, going to a prep school.
Wow.
And I mean, and it's crazy because you talk about the City League. Definitely the City League is not what it used to be. Like, I was kind of looking at it like, when did this all start? When did the dominoes start falling? And to me, it kind of started back when they closed Libby.
Yeah.
They closed Libby, and when they did at that time, before they closed, I think it was close to like 14 teams or something like that. That's when it was all the city schools, all the Catholic schools, and then you had the Whitmers, and you had the Clay was in there as well.
Yeah.
Then Libby closed, and I think 2 years after that happened, like that's when they started jumping ship and started, like, the Catholic schools started going to different leagues. Whitmer backed out, Clay backed out, and it left the City League down to 6 teams for the longest too. And I think that just changed recently when Lima Senior joined, I think, 2023, they joined and got a 4-year contract with the City League. So I'm kind of curious to see if they even stay after this 4 years of their contract, if they even stick around.
I don't think they will because the competition level is not. It's not at the level to where they're used to playing. Because when you
Mm.
come into a league and you win both the city league championship for the football and basketball in the same year, the first year, that's like okay, like where's the competition at? And the problem is the competition is not there because the talent is not there. The talent is not staying at Scott. The talent is not staying at Rogers. It's not staying at. It's not at Woodward at all. No, I'm just playing. But they're not
Oh,
staying at Bowsher. They're not staying at the inner city schools. Most of them are going to Catholic schools. Most of them are going to Emmanuel. They'll go to Emmanuel for 2 years. Then they'll get the highlight of playing at a Christian school or a non public school, a parochial school, and then they get transferred to a prep school. For
yeah.
example, Jerry Easter, who's not at Emmanuel anymore, who's at a prep school,
Yeah.
because the advantage of a prep school is the rules are limited at at a public school or at a city school. When you
Mm-hmm.
go to a prep school, it's kind of more wide open than what it is at a regular school.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot more wiggle room to kind of, they different rules apply, different benefits come with it, different, just different opportunities. Because I mean, let's be real, like a Jerry Easter type, he didn't have to leave Emmanuel Christian. He was gonna get offers from
Oh
every
yeah,
school in the nation, anyways. But
right,
then it just makes you scratch your head on like, okay, so what are they offering? Like, what's the chopping block? Because he can still keep doing what he's doing and still get recruited. He plays with the top talent in the summers, AAU, circuit, all that. So he's playing against and with top talent already over the summer. So, like you said, it's just different opportunities be presented to these kids and these families, and and they take advantage of them.
right. And when I hear college coaches talk about high school kids, they really don't talk about what happens at their school. They talk about what happens during the summer in
Mm,
AAU programs, in AAU play, because most of the time when you playing at school, and not that AAU is a different brand of basketball, but it can be. When you
mm-hmm,
play at school, there are different types of coaching is different. I would say, like Ed Heinzel is not going to let certain guys be a certain way on the floor when you playing in city league play. But an AAU coach is going to say, "Hey, Jerry, go out there and do what you got to do." Right?
no, that's real. It is different. Like you said, different brand of ball. It's more NBA type of ball. It's more ISO showcase. Yeah, okay. It's more it's more free will to kind of do what you want if you are that type of player. It
Right.
fits you perfect. It don't fit everybody though. Like you said, it's some people just pay to play on those teams, and then some people play to play. Like,
Right.
and yeah.
Because I saw KD, Kevin Durant, talking to. He was watching highlights of this guy was playing for AAU team, and the guy wanted to show him all his dunks. Like these are all my highlights. And KD was like, where's your mid range at? Like where's your jump shot at? Where's your where's your post play at? He said that's what we want. That's what you're gonna do. And when you make it to the league, you're not gonna be
Yeah,
dunking everywhere. You're
yeah,
gonna be doing mid. You're gonna shoot mid range because you're only 6'5". Who you gonna dunk on it when you're 6'5" in the NBA? Unless you got extreme hops.
yeah, right. Crazy bounce, right, right.
So it's like they look for certain stuff when you play for AAU in high school, and is different. Now back in the day, all the coaches came and saw Jimmy play
Right.
in the stands, sitting in the stands, because Jimmy played. Jimmy didn't play high school basketball when he was in high school. He played pro ball when he was in high school. He was he was a dominant player, as like he was LeBron James before LeBron James.
Yeah, he
He
was a
was a
man in
structure of
that
how you play basketball on a basketball court in high school,
building.
and you don't see that anymore. It's I don't want to say it's sad to see, but it's because I think one of the problems is when we grew up, we went to the pond, we went to City Park, Smith Park, went to Wilson Park, Putnam. I don't know if you ever played at Putnam Park. That's probably the most
Yeah.
dangerous park to play at. But
Putnam, all that, Hamilton
yeah,
Park, all them parks, man. It was. we would travel park to park to do that
Yes.
and get that real wreck. And like you said, it's a different time. Like you got to fight these kids to get out the house or to get off their devices and phones and all that. Like I don't. It's crazy that I get if I'm driving through the city and I see some kids hooping, I get like I'm happy and excited. Like, oh, look at them,
Right.
man. Like
Right.
with the
You
used to
never
be the
see it
whole
anymore.
time. Yeah, when you used to be like, oh, hold on, I'm gonna pull over and get some rec, or we used to ride bikes at the Boys and Girls Club. We would leave basketball practice, go home, grab something to eat, ride my bike to the Boys and Girls Club, get some rec. If it's not warm enough outside to play.
Right. You don't see that at all. And you hardly see, like, I go to the YMCA, the West Toledo YMCA. Only thing I see in there is kids working out with their parents. I don't see kids going to say, okay, we got 20 guys in here. We playing up to 11. You know what I'm saying? And then winners next. I don't see that at all, even on indoor play.
No, you're right. It's just there ain't a lot of live reps, man. It's all one-on-one training, which is good. I mean, you got to have the skills to, especially nowadays, the moves are crazy now. But ain't a lot of live. Like I love live reps, like with players when I'm trying to do training or when I'm coaching. I want it to be as live as possible.
Yes.
So it's physicality involved. Um, but like you said, it's a lot of that is missed today in the game.
Yeah, and speaking about trainers, Lionel Armstead, he trained both my son and my daughter when they were in high school, and me sitting in on the training is like, okay, this is how you're supposed to be trained.
Mm,
It's not just individual one-on-one moves and how to get through whatever, but now it's okay. Now we got scenarios,
mm.
so that'll teach you. Even though you're not doing the full game, you're not playing pickup, but it's the scenarios that helps out with that kind of training. And I appreciate him for that. What he does with the kids in basketball training.
No, that's real because everybody, it's all you can do 1,000 reps against a cone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
what are
right.
you really getting from that? Like I said, I don't take nothing from it because you need to sharpen your skill that way. But it has to be mixed in, like you said, some scenario based stuff where you can actually put to test the stuff that you've been trained to do and the learning you've been getting, and see how you can figure it out in a different way if you need to be, because the cone ain't gonna move, and then you get in them games, them cones moving.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Now going back to the NIL deals. Like when we talk about where it started, where it became nationally known, like Bronny James, Mikey Williams, Emmanuel, what's his last name? Hansel.
Yeah,
Those are the guys who kind of made it. And what's the ball? Mellow ball.
yeah.
The reason why he didn't go to college is because of NIL, because he had deals in place that will prevent him from playing college basketball. But these are, I won't say of the problem, but that's how it all started with, okay, these nationally known names aren't going to regular schools. They're going to prep schools because they have NIL deals. They have million dollar deals before they even get to pro, before you get to college.
Mm-hmm.
So now that creates a pattern or a scene to say, okay, this is what I want to do. As not that Jerry Easter is doing this, but as a player on Jerry Easter's level, as Nate Miles Jr. to say, I'm that good or better. I can get that kind of deal too, right?
No, that's real. Even to take it back a step further before the mellows and all them, like you think about some, because they tried to get some type of damage control with it when all them, it was the D League, the G League, then they had the farm teams, and like even like a player like Brandon Jennings who went to Oak Hill, he already went to a prep, but he was like, I'm not about to go to college where I'm not about to get no money, so he went
Mm,
overseas for a year before joining to the
I
NBA.
didn't know that.
Yeah, Brandon Jennings, he didn't play no college ball. He went overseas first, and then entered in like the NBA through that avenue
Wow.
of it. And there was a couple players who tried to do it a different way. So then that's like I said, they tried to have some damage control with it, or to avoid having to pay these kids in high school or in college. But ultimately, they were still losing out, and they kind of gave some of the players a little bit leverage, which I'm all for. Gave them leverage on trying to make business decisions for themselves, but when it's done in the right way. But it's some of it got to be you got to have the right people in your corner because I was reading a story. I don't know if you heard about the one kid. It's football. His name was Jaden Rashad, I think, for football. He originally committed to Miami Hurricanes on a
Oh yeah.
$9.5 million deal for NIL. But then the University of Florida backdoored him and told them like, "Hey, if you decommit from them, we'll pay you $13.5 million, right?"
What?
So look, right. So then he like, "Oh, 13.5, I'm taking it." So they agreed to give him like 500,000 a month after he signed, all this and that. Long story short, it didn't fall through the way he was supposed to. So he ended up having to leave Florida, and now he got a lawsuit against them because they didn't pay him the money that they promised him to pay, and it made him leave another school that was going to pay him 9.5. And
Oh
now
wow.
he had to end up. So he's at Georgia now. He's on the Georgia football team now, but he had to go to Arizona State first, and now he's on Georgia's team. So it's still a dirty game how they still trying to do the kid.
And to me, that diminishes the excitement of I'm committing to this school and I'm this type of player. This is what you're getting. It diminishes the fact of like you're getting the school is getting a prize
Mm,
when these players commit because now you got for 4 years or 3.5 years you're getting somebody who's going to go out on the field and dominate their position. Now it's like, okay, what are you giving me? I know you're giving me a full ride scholarship. I know you're giving me a platform to showcase my skills in order for me to be to see if I'm good enough to make it to the NFL or the NBA. But now it's like, well, like, what are you getting me besides that? Now, like, what money are you giving me? Because I'm not guaranteed to make it to the NFL because I might get injured. But I think that diminishes the fun factor of college football. It did basketball dirty because now you don't see. I'm not excited to see college basketball anymore
mm.
because most of these guys are going to the G League or playing for the overtime and getting paid, and then going right from high school to pro. College is trash to me.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
No, especially on the men's side, like it's getting
Yes, men's like women's basketball. Women's college basketball is probably the best college
it's
basketball
fire.
right
Women
now.
basketball fire. I watch
Yes,
way more women games than I did men this
I
past
did too.
year.
Especially with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all them playing last year.
Like to your point, like you said, yeah, the women's college basketball is in a great space. It's not just growing, and they still getting their money too. But it's a different space for them too because a lot of them getting paid more money in college than they do with WNBA. So like you got players sticking around longer, opposed to like you said, taking that whole other route of the
Right.
fast track to the NBA. So it's a little bit different, but they definitely benefiting from it though.
Yeah, and I think the women kind of deserve what they're getting in college because then they won't get that in the pros at all. Like Caitlin Clark probably made more than in college in or her NIL deals than what she'll ever make in the WNBA.
Angel Reese said that last year before she left, but they was asking her, "You gonna leave school to go to the NBA early?" I mean, she was like, "Why would I do that?" Like she
Right.
no disrespect, but I'm getting paid more in college than the highest paid WNBA player right now
Wow.
in college. She said that on it was a Breakfast Club interview.
And that's shows how college basketball or college women's college basketball appreciates uh and the boosters of these schools appreciate these athletes
Yeah,
more or less than what the WNBA is showing how they appreciate the athletes. And it's crazy because WNBA, I know they only been around for 25 years. And when you look at the 26 years, 27 years, but when you look at the 25-year mark of the NBA, which was the 1980s, when the NBA was basically broke until Magic Johnson and Larry Bird showed up,
yeah, yeah.
like that's what the WNBA is right now.
Right. No.
Now they have to figure out, okay, now we got Caitlin Clark, now we got Angel Reese. How can we capitalize on these brands right now? Because that's what they are. They're
Yeah.
brands. When
Yeah.
Magic and Bird came into the NBA, they were brands.
Mm-hmm.
They started something. They started this rivalry that came out of nowhere. That Lakers and Celtics rivalry have been going on for years. But when Magic and Bird came in, it's like this is the right timing for that to reignite again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the WNBA should look at. This is a market. This is not just sports. This is a marketing tool to bring in money. So now that you can increase the pay rate of these players because they deserve it.
No, they definitely do. And it's always a checks and balance. of that because they've been losing money every year, so it'd be hard for them to,
Yeah.
what I'm
How,
saying, to
how
pay when you really the
the
return
NBA been
on
paying
money.
what 10% of the WNBA
Right,
salaries
like
more than that.
the ROI ain't, what I'm saying, it ain't hitting for what it need to. But this year, I think they just got like a new TV contract deal or something where they getting more money. So they getting more deals in place. Like you said, right now is the Bird and Magic moment for them, and it seems like they trying to move the needle the right way. So I'm just, especially with all the talent too they got that's coming behind them, it's only going to help it. Like with the Juju's and the Page and
Oh man,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, like them up and being up next, and then just some of the other girls. There's been some these high school girls, man. They starting to step it up, man. They starting to go crazy. I've been seeing so much footage and be like, oh yeah, now I'm starting to watch all these different college teams that I've never even cared about in the women's basketball field.
right,
And that's why it's more fire on their side because they stand 3, 4 years and we seeing players actually develop and
exactly.
seeing them at the top of their game in the college opposed to NBA. It's like, these boys, you present millions to kids who ain't never had it. And it's like, how can you turn it down? Like, if I can do this and fast track myself to the league, and it's kind of hard to say no to it, especially depending on where you come from. You know how that goes. So
Yeah,
it's you know what I'm saying? It's a hot and a cold to it, but it's just about making sure they got the right people in place to help them make the right decisions for real.
yeah. I was saying that like college basketball. Hopefully, the play kind of increases with the NIL now in place. That some of these players wouldn't leave after 2 years or after 1 year. You rarely see guys staying 3 to 4 years in men's college basketball anymore.
Nah,
I can't remember a player that did.
nah. Like unless you just know you're not gonna be,
Right,
NBA lottery or nothing like that, or some of the smaller schools. But even a lot of them dudes, they starting to that portal starting to get serious on the basketball and the football side. So like the transfer portal is like fantasy football in college now. Like you just kind of go wherever you want. If you don't like, I don't like this, I'm gonna go somewhere else now.
how do
Type
you
of
feel
thing.
about that though? Like,
It's like I said, it's a gift and a curse too, man. Because depending on the situation, I understand some players you go somewhere, and if you and a coach not cool, or for some type of incident happen where it's not the right place for you to be, then and you don't want to suffer through 4 years, I understand that. But if you're just going somewhere and after 1 year and it's just because it's too tough type of stuff, or I couldn't cut it, like I don't really like it. You know what I'm saying? But as a
right,
parent, it just depends on the situation. And all the parents, you want your kid to be in a spot where they can flourish. And depending on what the kid telling the parent and the coach telling the parent and how open the communication is, I think that's, a lot of that plays a role into it too as well. Like the relationships that coaches build with these families, whether it's genuine with them or not. Because if a parent trusts their kid with a coach like genuinely, then I think the parent is going to be like, oh, well, let's talk to coach about this and see how we can fix this for
right.
going forward. But yeah, it's a lot of layers to it. And some of it I don't like it because it's too common now. It's too easy just to jump ship.
Yeah, and I don't think it's 100% that everyone is jumping ship because or changing or going to the transfer portal because of a situation that they don't like. I think it's because I think I can do better at this school, or I just don't like the way they do running offense. I want to go to this school. Like Bo Nix started off at Auburn because his dad played at Auburn,
Right.
but ended up going to Oregon and became this superstar quarterback, right? But it was because that they didn't like the way that Auburn was running the offense. They didn't like the offense because Bo Nix wasn't too involved in the offense to where he can get highlighted. That's my opinion. I don't know. But it's like I think there should be some kind of stipulation on how often you transfer because I've seen people transfer 2 or 3 times. And the reason why you're transferring is there hardship? Is there a situation to where you can't be at this school? Like it has to be something, some kind of stipulation to prevent all these transfers.
There was at one point I remember because I remember when Justin Fields came to Ohio State. It was a process he had to go through, and there had to be some type of reason for him to be
Okay.
approved to go through to get to Ohio State from Georgia. So, but I don't like now. I should have looked it up before this. Like I don't know what the criteria is now. It don't seem like it's none. It just seemed like you just put your name in a portal,
Yeah.
and if somebody bite, you see what the opportunity is. But it's just free for all. Like I don't understand either for real.
And for some players, it worked out. Like Joe Burrow, who was at Ohio State, started off at Ohio
Hmm.
State, and then transferred to Louisiana, LSU, and ended up winning the national championship. So it worked out for him, and he got drafted in the NFL. Now he's doing okay. But it works out for some, and some people is just like, okay, what you transferring for? Like, what are you benefiting from this? You same guy that that you were at Georgia, that you're at California. You're not doing no better, no different. So what's the point?
That's tough because it's like, yeah, because it's like, how do they even manage that though? Because you really can't say who gonna be what, where, and
That's true.
you know what I'm saying? It's like you can't predict somebody's potential on what it was. Because like you said, like Bo Nix, he was here, he went there, Heisman hopeful, first round draft pick, all that, breaking all type of numbers and records and all that, and even Justin Fields, he sat behind, some people at Georgia, came to Ohio State, Heisman hopeful, all that. So it's kind of hard to put brackets on who gonna be successful when they do leave, but. And it's like I don't. It's a tough. I gotta look that up and see because I'm curious to know what's the parameters on it if there are any for real. To be honest,
Right. Right.
man. But it's a trickle down effect too, though. If you think about like even with the NBA, just how there was a time where if you was drafted by this team, more than likely you want to stay with this team, build your career, your family, live in this city now. But now it's like it's AAU and the NBA pretty much. Like players like Durant. Like it's crazy how many teams he's played on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he's a staple of any team he goes on. But then now, like I said, the kids see it. Like Durant do it, Brown do it, whoever else do it. They did it and it worked out for them too. It's gonna work for us.
Yeah, and it's a different time now. It's a different situation now. Now the players are in more control of their destiny
Absolutely.
and where they want to play and who
Yeah,
they want to play with. And
yeah.
I don't see a problem with it. Like you said, Durant, for example, OKC, uh, Brooklyn, the Suns. Who else did he play for?
Golden State.
Golden State. Golden State. Two chips at Golden State. So it's like can't that doesn't diminish the player that he is because he's still the guy on every team. Like you said, he's a staple on every team that he plays for. They
Yeah,
don't change the player that he is. LeBron playing for Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland, LA doesn't change who Bron is because Bron's still gonna be great.
yep,
Wherever Chris Paul's still gonna be Chris Paul, no matter what team he plays for. OKC, New Orleans, the Clippers, no matter where he goes, the Suns, he's still gonna be Chris Paul.
yeah.
Now, back in the day, when Charles Barkley left Phoenix and went to Houston, he was not the same Charles Barkley.
It was at the end of the rope. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So when Patrick Ewing went from New York Knicks to the Seattle Supersonics, he was not the same Patrick Ewing.
Nah.
We all knew that. We all knew back then when people changed teams, it was like, okay, he about to retire.
They were forced out. Like like
Yeah,
like like Emmitt Smith, prime
right.
example. You know what I'm
Arizona.
saying? It's crazy seeing Emmitt in the Arizona jersey. Like so they were more like you said. The players now they got more power, more leverage, so they're doing it more so in their prime or shortly after, where they still got some good years, opposed to them just giving everything to one franchise. And then they send them selling on like, all right, we appreciate you. Good luck at the
Right.
next stop. So no, yeah, I get that too. Yeah, but I'm saying but these kids see it now, and that's what it's. A lot of it is trickle because that's their favorite players who they look up to. Like, so it
Right.
makes it okay to jump around. Especially in high school, like this kids be transferring high schools like crazy now. Like it's crazy. I be like, how many high schools do some of these kids be going to? Like,
Yeah. And I don't think it's bad. I think everyone is looking for the thing that's gonna benefit them the most.
yeah,
What can I get the most out of? Like who's gonna benefit my career in high school and when I go to college and in the pros. And it could be a downfall, but it could be a benefit, like you said, to the family, to the player, to everybody. And I don't think we as spectators or as coaches should you know downplay what they're doing because
yeah,
this is their career, this
yeah,
is their body.
yeah. No, that's real because like you said, it's a blessing, and then too like they gain so much, but then too you think about though some of the stuff that they lose just from a practical standpoint of like the camaraderie and the brotherhood of
Yeah.
these relationships that you build when you're in high school. Like you said, Bulldog Weekend, like you talked about that. Like a lot of them relationships was built with kids who was there through their 4 years. You know,
Yep.
some people sprinkled in, but like when you do that and you jump around a lot, it's like,
You don't
what
get that.
foundation do you have to come back to? Like when it's like, oh yeah, we was best friends. Da da da. You make a lot of friends along the way. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
Like that ain't gonna change. And then also too, but like you said, but they gain opportunity for their family skills. So like to that point, like I ain't gonna say the kid's name or what school, but like one kid who left Ohio to go to a prep school, like, and I'm gonna say all this, and it'll be hard to turn this down as a kid and as a family. This kid got 170K. He got a car, off campus housing, and he also got some equity shares from one of the companies that sponsor their
Oh
school.
wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. That's business deals. Like it's
Yeah.
hard. Like, and that's that. And if that's presented to you as a kid and as a family in high school, it's like, well, yeah, I really, where do you go?
Right. That and I think that's going to become the new norm. If I'm a parent, if my I got a 6'7" freshman who can dribble the ball, shoot the ball like KD. You know what I'm saying? He can post like Jordan, and he can run up the floor and like Iverson. If I'm protecting my kid, I'm gonna try to get the most for that kid wherever I send him. If I send him to a prep school and they want to pay for his college and pay for it, give him a car and give him money and give him a house and everything. Yes, that's what I want for my kid. Instead of going to a public school, who's going to say, okay, here are the books. Make sure he shows up at practice at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. You know what I'm saying? And then that's it. Y'all go home and y'all enjoy y'all week while we take care of your kid at school. We see y'all at the
Right.
game. Like
Right.
that's it. That's all you get at a public school.
Man.
And to public school is good. Public school city league basketball is good for a lot of kids,
Yeah.
but there are special kids who need to be protected. Not that city league coaches don't offer great coaching. They do because I
Mm.
was coached by and most of our legends in the city were coached by city league coaches. Bart Schroeder, Ben Williams, Leroy Bates. I can go on and on and on.
Yeah, straight up, like for real. Yeah.
Those are city league coaches who developed NBA players. I
Hmm.
forgot the coach of St. Francis back in the day, but him too, and the coach at Bowsher. But those guys developed NBA players. I haven't seen an NBA player come out of Toledo in how long? Since when?
Uh,
2010.
what's the one kid name? I don't know what school he went to. Maybe it was Whitmer. I don't think it was a city league though. What's the kid name? Vinny something?
Oh, he went to St. John's.
Okay, yeah, like
Vinny
you said,
Williams.
but yeah, not the city league though. City league wise, no, I can't. I can't say it. And it's like you said, because ultimately, when you're a kid playing, the goal is to what? Be
To make
paid to play.
Yeah,
Eventually,
to
you're
make
gonna
it to
be
get to
paid,
make that your profession. Yeah,
right? You know what I'm saying? And they're giving them that money now, so it's like you gotta you gotta understand these moves they're making and why they're making them. Because ultimately, like I said, it's Ohio. We're losing our stars due to this. Like I don't know when we're gonna pick it up and realize like all our people being shipped out the way. We losing a lot of talent to these other states with these prep schools and these NIL deals. Um,
I
the
think the
city
problem
league,
is with Ohio is especially Toledo specifically is where are they going to get the funding to produce NIL deals for the kids? It has to
yeah,
be investments made by big investors for that to
yep,
happen.
yep.
And those investments come from people who believe in that school and say, and the school goes to this investor and say, hey, this is what we want to do for this kid. Okay, this is here's the check. Ohio has to have that kind of relationship, or Toledo has to have that kind of relationship with an investor type business or person.
To that point,
And
that makes me surprised though that Scott doesn't have more of that though.
because
With
of
the
the alumni
because
that
of the
Scott
crazy
has.
alumni that
Yeah.
Scott has, all the successful people that has gone to Scott, and the successful people that come back for that alumni weekend stuff, and some people that's still in Toledo too. I know that's on that got feet to the ground, that's doing their part. I can name a few for sure who's still there trying to help as much as they can and have gave
Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears to that school. But like you said, well, with that type of following, I'll just be surprised sometimes that there won't be more of that with them. I don't know I can't speak. I know what the numbers look like for them, but I'm just saying, you would expect it to be more with that type of following.
I think it's something new to Toledo. The NIL of kids looking for that NIL, right? And I think over time, I think that'll become a part of what the school does to keep better players.
Yeah,
But somebody has to present that to the school. They're not going to come up with it themselves
nah,
unless
yeah,
somebody who's into looking into high school sports and high school deals, NIL deals, and all that
yeah,
stuff. And nobody has presented it to them, so they
yeah.
don't know how to approach it.
I mean, like you said, it's still not even a green light to do it here yet. So like
Right.
legal matters, you know. I mean, I figure there's some type of way that they can do it, and I don't know what nobody's doing or what they're not doing. I ain't counting nobody's pockets, but
Oh, it's a
if
way to
it
get.
does,
It's a way for it to get done.
you know what
It's
I'm saying? It's
just
happened. Like, no, it's
yeah,
not having it happen because it's been, yeah, I can remember back in my day just playing like people getting cashed out for stuff and people buying us shoes
yeah,
just because, you know what I'm saying, and looking out. But I guess until Ohio green like this whole NIL thing is going to be a lot of talent leaving out. Different leagues going to be diminishing how the city league is, and trying to create these better power leagues where their kids can get better looks, or they're going to be leaving the city league to go to these other schools, which you hate to see it because it's a lot of alumni of people that we know that from Scott and the Libbies and the Bowsers or whoever, but their kids don't even go to their alma
yeah.
mater. You know what I'm saying? They
We
going
talked
to the
about that. Yeah,
Centuries and all that. You know what I'm saying? Which I understand rightfully so. It's the opportunity. It's hard to keep them there when the opportunity ain't the same, and so I just hope there's some type of change that happen, man, in the near future because we're losing a lot behind that.
yeah, and I think it will. Like you said, it's going to take for Ohio to kind of lift that ban and let that happen. And
Yeah,
then somebody has to approach these schools and say, "Hey, this is what's happening. This is what you need to do to keep the players, and this is the benefit of doing that for the
yeah,
players, right?
yeah,
Because I'm not gonna, as a school, I'm not gonna give NIL deals if it's not gonna benefit the school. But the benefit is, and I'm going to use Jerry for example again. Is when Jerry Easter was at Emmanuel, the attendance level of the games was crazy,
right,
something you haven't seen in years.
right,
Since Lionel played for Emmanuel.
right. Different sponsors coming into the school
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah, that's real. No, that's really got to
that's the
be.
benefit.
Gotta have a reason to want to dump that type of money into the school. But like you said, but with the players leaving, though, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's gonna take that one, though. I don't know who that one. It's gonna take that one who that's gonna change the whole dynamic of it. When it happens, we look like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, and until then, I say good luck to these guys who are getting these deals
For
and
sure.
going out and playing for these other schools because they deserve it. They put in the work,
Yeah, for
and
real.
the future is ahead of them. So they're going to invest in their future.
The thing I be worried about too is like I haven't looked at too, but what happens when that doesn't work for
Mm.
the people dumping money into these kids? What's the recourse on that? Like, are they left with a bill? You know what I'm saying? Like, or what's the recourse on this? And I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork involved, and but it's just like they don't want. I know these businesses and these schools, they're not just doing it just because they're not covering themselves in the process. There got to be some type of recourse on if X, Y, and Z doesn't happen in the process.
Mm. I don't know if they'll have that like in the stipulation for the kid
Yeah,
or for the parent.
yeah,
Like, how does that work? Because the kid is only 16, 17 years old.
right.
Like, he can't be held liable for something that's done or not done. Would it
True.
be on the parent? And if the kid doesn't work out for the school and doesn't produce the numbers that that he's promised to produce, like where does that go?
Yeah, like after that year, if
Right.
he didn't do what he's projected, so then what? Is he got to find a new place to go to call home? Now he in the portal. You know what I'm saying? So now what? Now what we doing to the kid mentally, and
Yeah, that kind of
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it kind of messes up the whole process of those type of deals because he's not ready for that kind of responsibility.
Man, we see
That's
it. We
kind of
probably
heavy,
even
ain't
talking
it?
about. It is for now. It made me think about this kid that from Columbus here. Like he was big time, man, big time in high school, and he left after I think his sophomore year to go play at a big prep school. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't pan out. But like when he was playing here, he was getting every type of offer. He was,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying, potential, but he left to go to a big school, and it did not pan out. And when I see him now too, I'll be like, dang, it could have been something different for him. But the kid had game, size, all that. But his parents they pulled him and sent him to a prep school, and it just didn't work. And I don't know, what I'm saying, what the ins and outs of what the negotiations was, or even if he even got any money for it. But it was just like he was gonna get everything he wanted here, but and it was kind of before the NIL took off too, so that's why I was kind of confused. Like I don't even know if he was getting paid like that or not. But now it's like, dang, he lost some years that he can't get back for that. But I guess they
Wow.
tried it. I don't know. Maybe that's they're not asking themselves like, well, we tried it. It didn't work. We went with it. It just didn't work. We tried it. We can say we tried it. That type of mentality.
Mm. That's tough. Like you said, like that's too much pressure to put on a kid to say
Yeah, man.
this is what, like, even without NIL,
Yeah.
this is what we expect of you. And if you don't make this mark, like you're gonna be out. Like you're out. Like go back to where you came from. Tough,
Mm-hmm.
tough luck. That's tough. That's tough for a kid to deal with, even at 19, 20, when you're in college. When you
Yeah,
see
for
college
real.
kids who don't make it as they were expected to make it, like what are they doing now? They're not. Some people are still trying to make it to this
Yeah,
day, still
for
trying to
real.
work out and go to these trials or whatever. But like mentally, what does that do to you? That's the thing about these NILs and transfer porters and all this. The different aspects of sports now is basically money. The
Mm.
money has changed a lot in sports. It's good for you in the long run. As far as if you make it, but if you don't make it, is it can be terrible. It can be life changing in a bad
Right.
way.
Especially if you don't got people managing the money for you to make it work for you in the long run. Like I mentioned, the one kid or everything he getting, let's just say they take that and blow it on, I don't know, stuff that's just right now, but his money's not making any money for him down the stretch. And if the NBA thing don't work out, then what? Like we had a kid, I know, it was a kid from this area too, like went to college, got big NIL deals, but dude was smart with his money. As soon as he got on campus, day one, he's buying out places to do his own Airbnb stuff,
Mm,
getting paid like that, like houses around the campus. Like
wow,
he's getting them and making his money work for him already just being there. Like he had just different people in his corner to help him manage the money to make sure it worked for him in the long run, no matter what happened to him in his basketball career was.
wow. Yeah, that's I don't. You can't get that with every family, every parent. That's what's needed, but you're not going to be guaranteed to have that.
No,
And that's the problem. That's the situations like like what do you do?
it's tough. That's why they gotta. Hopefully, that's what they present to them when they. And I guess it's up to people to even take that type of advice. So, like you would think when they offer these NIL deals, you would hope they got people in place to. Okay, well, if you guys want to make your money work long ways for you, we have these resources available for you. So
Right,
if
right,
you want to take
yeah.
advantage of this, let us know type of deal. But it's up to people to do it or not. So I would hope it will have something like that attached to it if they really care about these families and these kids' longevity and not just why they at their establishment or their school or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. Um Mike, this has been going for an hour at least almost. Um we can do this again whenever you're
For sure.
ready.
Yeah.
But this has been a great conversation talking about NIL, high school basketball. Um, so how can people follow you on social media? I know you do Jersey Mikes and you sell jerseys. For example, the one you got on is the Mac Man Jim
Yeah.
Jackson throwback jersey.
Jimmy, high school Jimmy. Yeah. Yeah. Facebook. I'm Mike Chuck, MikeChac. I got the Jersey Mike Jersey on Facebook is Jerzey Mike. IG the same thing. Jersey Mike. But yeah, this is a good compliment. I appreciate you having me on. I can, like you said, we could have been doing this for a minute because
Yeah,
I'm layered
yeah.
up in the conversation. I guess one thing to look forward to, I guess, as we pardon, and I know they've been talking about it. The Ohio shot clock, high school shot clock. Um, so because it's like 27, 30 states that do it already,
What?
and they got somebody's trying it out. They haven't announced when it's coming to Ohio, but there's a uh, it's in December down in Canton. They have a Ohio shot clock shootout
Mm.
where it's a type of tournament or whatever, all high school teams, and they're using the shot clock. So we'll see how that go, man. That could be a whole other discussion on what the benefits of that could be.
Yeah, yeah. We can talk about that next. Yeah, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you as a contributor to what we do on Win or Lose Sports. Um, and like we'll have more episodes with Mike, and hopefully we can get Ronell to join us
Yeah, look at my
soon. I
dog.
know our hours are crazy at work, so
Yeah. 'Cause me and him will do this. Me and him do this anyway too, just on some random stuff, and so you know it'll be an hour. Like, dang, all right, bro, let
right,
me get with you.
right.
No, I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, once again, just let me know. Like I said, wish you continued success in everything you're doing. Appreciate how you just, shedding light on a lot of just the Toledo stuff, man. I mean, I don't, a lot of people probably don't say it, but you be putting a lot of names out there that people forgot about, and take people back down memory lane. And then you also shadow on some names that's up and coming now. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. Tune in on Facebook, YouTube, and on all of our podcast platforms at Win or Lose Show and at Play by Play. And we'll see you next time.